Want to read through this new Daily Mail article with you because it gives us insight into what Madison and Kaylee were doing before they showed up at the Grub Truckers food truck. And the guy, Joe Vidot, who was commenting on my Plunder TikTok, and I did a video about it, I can link to that below. He's telling us how he was also at the club that Madison and Kaylee attended and how all these guys were paying attention to the girls. So this article is from the Daily Mail. It was just published today, Thanksgiving Eve. So it's retracing the steps of the person who committed this horrible crime. And the Daily Mail has the blueprints to that infamous house, 1122 King Road in Moscow, Idaho. You know, they're saying it shows where each student was found, but we don't exactly know. Officially, the cops have only told us the victims were found on the second and third floors. We don't really know for sure if they were found in their bedrooms. I kind of think by tracing that blood pattern that trickled outside the foundation of the home, I kind of think that was near the sliding glass door on the second floor. So it leads me to believe that someone was trying to even escape, and maybe they fell there because the pattern might have come out that way. But let's just read the bulk of this. It says dailymail.com. It's claiming that the Daily Mail can reveal where each of the University of Idaho students were found stabbed in their off-campus rental house on November 13th. So they've got the blueprints and the layout plans. They're talking about the 3-story property. We already know there's 2 bedrooms on each floor, a 6-bedroom house. And I have been digging into the plans and everything, the owner of the home, figuring out when he purchased it and all that stuff. And I don't need to name him, but I did see also a report earlier today how the seemingly front part of the home was the original part, the 1122, where we see that door in the parking lot, and how there was a big, huge addition put onto that house, which makes sense because the guy who owns it, he's a real estate guy. He would want to optimize, of course, his investment. So that makes sense. But this article, boy, what it's revealing. It's saying that Kaylee and Maddie, both 21, were found in their beds on the 3rd floor. Now, we have heard talk potentially about everyone being in bed, but I don't know if that's truly confirmed. The reports I've seen from the coroner are a little bit confusing to me, and by me seeing that pattern and where it may have leaked from, I'll believe it when cops say, yeah, they were definitely found in their beds. They're talking about Ethan and Zaina being found in the front 2nd floor bedroom. Now, it was Ethan's mom, I believe, who did admit, yeah, they were there sleeping in the same room together. So I believe that more so. And they even named the surviving roommates, whose names, I've been trying to keep under wraps, but I have been checking out their tattoos. These are cool. People are talking about the tattoos that Dylan posted. We're going to assume these are the surviving roommates and these tattoos they got. For Maddie, Kaylee, Zaina, and Ethan. And it's similar angel wings. Just like similar angel wings to the angel wing tattoo that Maddie had. I found a bunch of photos of angel wings that Maddie had on her arm. So they named the surviving roommates, only sophomores, they're both women, Dylan and Bethany. They're saying they slept in the 1st floor bedrooms. So they are suggesting the perpetrator entered through a sliding glass door that leads from an outdoor patio to the kitchen. So if the person did enter there, that would technically be the 2nd level. Now, it could be if the person is targeting the victims, the 4 victims, they could have gone into the 2nd floor level, committed that horrible crime there, gone up to the 3rd floor, committed that horrible crime up there, maybe left the way he or she came out on the 2nd floor, maybe never even entered the 1st floor. We don't know. The cops would not tell us today, November 23rd, in that presser. They would not tell us whether or not they had evidence to suggest that the perpetrator went to the 1st floor at all. I'm sure they know they have 100 pieces of evidence or more, but they wouldn't tell us. So let's get to the floor plans. They are speaking of the floor plans of this house. The schematics of 1122 King Road in Moscow, Idaho. Ugh, it's just horrible to even read this, but they're saying again, Kaylee and Maddie were found on the top floor. They call it, done away with in their beds, but just because a person is sleeping doesn't mean they were necessarily in their beds. We don't know. And like another person wrote, how would you know for certain a person was sleeping when this happened? We just don't have all the facts yet. So they speak about the first floor, the basement floor, opening out to the gravel parking lot. And the cops did talk about these cars back here, some of them belonging to, I guess, the victims, but some of them belonging to surviving roommates. So that's why specifically the white car, when cops were going through it, as you could see in different news clips, that's what they were doing. So here is the layout they show. They're showing Ethan and Zaina were here in that bedroom, but in 3 and 4, they're saying Kaylee and Madison were here. We get a better idea of it. And there it is too. They do show new roof system over house, new roof system over, and then that part, and they show existing house. So they do show the plans that, yeah, this home had a huge addition added onto it. And we do see Madison's bedroom in different TikToks, so we can kind of get an idea of the layout. Her bed, her bathroom, and how things are positioned. We don't exactly know, of course, how things were literally positioned, but we get an idea of the doorways or the windows and the bathrooms. And the overhead shots, whenever you can see an overhead shot too, that really gives you an idea of just how long this balcony is. And so we don't know. See, the blue chair is right here. I've used the blue chair as like a touch mark, a touch point, a landmark to figure out where that leaking on the foundation was. So I saw the blue chair here. So I believe the foundation leaking photo we had seen was somewhere around in here. And it looks different now. It looks like something has been placed over it. So I guess I have to tell from the layout, I thought it would have been closer to this area. I'm going to have to go back through my photos because in some of the leakage photos, some video, I could see the blue chair. So the leaking came from around there or there. It might have been here. I'll have to put in some more photos. So I thought someone may have been bleeding out in this room, which I assumed was the kitchen area, as if a victim was trying to escape. We see the kitchen area here, and that looks like where that big sliding glass, and it does say 6 feet by 6 feet and 8 inches. That is the sliding glass door. So whose bedroom is this? That's the second floor, and that would make sense. That makes sense. Wow. This is so disheartening. So this is the sliding glass door area. That was likely Ethan and Zaina's bedroom right there, and the leakage would have been somewhere around in there, and it makes sense, unfortunately to say, with the 2 people. So you walk in that way, and right here is Ethan and Zaina's bedroom. And so, wow, we saw that leakage. I believe it might have been on that wall. Potentially over there, but I think it really was on that wall because I saw a video pan over and I could see the leakage area, and I saw the blue chair, and that's how I knew where it was stationed, and that's how I knew where it was situated. So it makes more sense if that truly was Ethan and Zaina's bedroom with both victims, and we think about our bodies hold about 20 cups of blood, and you imagine 2 people likely losing their lives in the same place. It makes sense as to why we would see that much leakage down there. This helps seeing the layout. So they talk about the new roof system over the existing house, the master bedrooms. They're speaking about today's press conference, how police refused to say, which order do you believe these horrible crimes happened in? Because, and one guy, I don't blame him, he got a little upset. People are like, you think someone was targeted, but you won't tell us who was targeted. The cop was like, well, you just got to trust us. And I hope it's true. I don't know if I saw a little pride in his eyes or a little hubris or something. I really hope that's not it. I hope it's not like, look, I'm a cop, you're not. I hope it's really just man, these guys are working hard. They have a lot of info. They're doing this right by the book. And, they're asking them, how do we stay safe if we just don't know? People just want to be reassured. The perpetrator could still be just walking around that town. Maybe the perpetrator got out of town that Sunday and went far, far away. Or is he there hiding in plain sight? He or she, duper's delight, chuckling at the fact that he's getting away with it thus far. So they talk about the press conference. They're talking about the 2 women who slept on the first floor, untouched by the perpetrator. So again, we don't know if that person knew that there were others in the house. And again, they name Jack Decor, Kaylee's ex-boyfriend. The dog that Kaylee shared with Jack was in the house. And they talk about Kaylee's TikTok video of her dancing with Murphy. There's more TikTok videos of the roommates pretending to be one another, and it's so cute. One of them says, "Murphy, you've been a bad boy." It's really cute. But one New York publication, I think it's the New York Post, did have a photo of whom they said was Jack, and they showed Labradoodle, I believe he is, Murphy, with Jack. But Jack's hair is like darker now. At first I was like, that's not Jack. He has red hair. But I don't blame him if he did dye his hair darker because, I wouldn't want a bunch of people hounding me either. Kaylee's family has complete confidence in the fact that they don't believe Jack had anything to do with this. So, I believe them in their confidence in him. They knew how many years they went out together. But the fact, what this Joe Vado guy is going to say, oh, look at that. You could see Truly cans in there. I'm assuming that was already in there. Or is that artwork? That's kind of hard to tell. Oh, yeah, artwork. That's different. Yes Way, Jose, Corona. How much is Truly going to factor into another crime case just to be there, just like the Kylie Rodney case? We saw Truly cans there. So you can just see the reflection of snow outside. You see the trash. There it is. You see the sliding glass door. The blue chair usually, I think, sits around here because I saw it in the girls' photos. So the bedroom must be over here somewhere. Zaina and Ethan's bedroom. So they give you more of a layout there. They're showing a flyer and they're talking about, defensive wounds and stuff that we still don't quite know the gist of completely. Defensive wounds might not be what we expect them to be. It doesn't mean that Zaina and Ethan or whomever, if it was just Zaina, had defensive wounds. I don't know how many people had defensive wounds. We don't know if a person was just putting their arm up or hand up, like a movement that's automatic. We don't know if it was that or if it was really a fight. They're talking about the house being close to U of I's campus and when it was last up for rent, how it was described. Yeah, I've seen that, the different descriptions, and I've looked so deep into this house, this castle on King, as one person called it. I mean, I've looked into people who previously lived at the house, a guy who lived there like 10 years ago. I mean, I stopped myself from asking him, did it feel haunted? I've gone so deep into this case. Sought after location, it really was, I guess. No pets allowed, it said, but we don't know if that was changed or if Murphy was like an emotional support animal or if it was okay to have him there. But now when I saw the name Joe Vado, I couldn't believe it. I was like, wow, he's the guy who was commenting on my TikToks. And he gave the Daily Mail apparently more info, so I'm grateful. So Joe Vado is a local man who saw the 2 co-eds out. And I didn't know he had gone to the same club and everything. So Joe Vado saw the 2 co-eds, Kaylee and Maddie, out on the town and in the hours before the attack. Police had told us, so had Kaylee's sister, told us they were partying at the corner club bar that night. Vado said, now this is very interesting, Joe Vado was also there, so he was also at the corner club. I guess a lot of people must go there, I'm assuming. The women were catching the attention of many of the men at the bar, and I'm sure because, they're gorgeous girls. It's obvious they're these young, gorgeous, seemingly funny. Just from the video, you can kind of tell their personalities. So Joe told the Daily Mail, a lot of guys were talking to them at the corner club. He said, Basically, Kaylee was visibly drunk. So Joe said the taller girl with the pink on, she was glass-eyed. I audibly said, "Ooh," out loud. She was just stumbling through. So that's kind of like, oh, you hear that and you don't want to know that these young girls, you know how some men especially can be. If they see a girl that's really inebriated, it's almost like seeing a gazelle, stumbling around like, "Ooh, baby, let me help you home," wink, wink, and he's going to allude to that too. Joe said he left the corner club ahead of the girls, and he was with a neighbor who had just moved to Moscow, and he was showing her the Grub Truckers food truck. It's a popular food truck, I'm sure, with students with the late night munchies. I know, I was thinking, I wish we had food trucks back then when I was at Florida A&M. Joe said, I was just standing there waiting because the Grub bus takes forever when a bunch of drunk zombies show up there, he said. Joe noted that he was 100% sober. So that's important, not to be like, holier than thou. Oh, I was 100% sober. It's good in terms of memory and remembering what he observed that night. If Joe had been drunk off of his butt, like the girls allegedly were, then he might not have remembered things as clearly. The Daily Mail said that's when Maddie and Kaylee showed up with a guy in a hoodie, who has been the subject of much speculation, but police have said hoodie guy's not a suspect. So, Joe is saying, I saw the hoodie guy show up with the two of them, Maddie and Kaylee. And Joe said the vibe I got from him is that he's super nice. He was trying to help them get home safe. So that's the same thing that Joe was commenting on my TikTok. He was saying, this guy told him, hoodie guy told him he was trying to help the girls get home safe. Joe defended hoodie guy as a dutiful chaperone who may have had amorous intentions on his mind. He was funny, he was nice, he was there to make sure that they got home safe because they were super drunk. I thought he was a solid guy. Believe me when I tell you that his vibe was not bad. So some people have brought that up. They thought the girls were a little bit tipsy. I don't know, from what range super drunk to tipsy to medium. At one point we did see like Kaylee bang on the thing when it's like she's ready to get her food. We could hear Madison speaking when she first came up to order. She was saying, "Can I get the carbonara?" Like she was thinking, and still we saw Kaylee go hug a different guy when she saw him. She was a little unsteady on her feet. I don't know if you consider that super drunk. It depends. I know some people won't like him saying that, but I'm sure Joe is not trying to victim blame or anything like that. I'm sure he's probably just trying to tell you what happened, what he observed, what he was really feeling. So he saw them at the club, all these guys hawking, standing around, I'm sure, wanting to take the girls home. But back to hoodie guy. Joe said, I thought he was a solid guy. Believe me when I tell you that his vibe was not bad. So Joe is saying, look, hoodie guy may have had amorous intentions like chivalry. Why is that such a difficult word? Let me practice a little chivalry, get you girls home, but they're going to end up ditching him just like we thought they did. Now, Joe is saying while they were waiting, a bunch of fraternity guys showed up. We'll have to look at the video and see if these guys are on the video. Well, we do see the tank top guy he's going to talk about. Joe said, I was making fun of one of the guys who showed up at the grub bus in short shorts and a tank top, and it was cold. And Joe told him, I said, relax, bro. Some of us are single. That made everybody laugh, and then he made a joke. Joe was joking like, look, tank top guy, don't worry. You don't have to wear such little clothing and show so much skin. I'm sure there's some single people out here who will go home with you. You don't have to put it all on display. Or that's the way I interpret the joke. Joe said people were just talking and chatting, waiting for their food orders. So Kaylee and Madison hung around the truck window, hounding people who were picking up their orders. Now, I don't know what he means by hounding people. We saw Maddie on her phone quite a bit. We saw Kaylee pointing back at the hoodie guy. I don't even know if Joe says hounding. I don't know if that's the Daily Mail interpretation of what he said. Maybe while you're standing there waiting, maybe it was kind of like, hey, you got your food before me. I ordered 10 minutes ago, or whatever. The girls were only there 10 minutes. Joe said it was then that a dark 4-door sedan showed up. So this was the alleged private party guy, Uber guy. I still don't know who this driver is, but the cop said he has nothing to do with anything. But Joe said a guy got out and yelled, "Hurry up!" I think some people have caught that on video. It's hard. If I could isolate the audio, I can try and put it in another video. But Joe is saying a guy got out of this dark 4-door sedan and yelled, "Hurry up!" I saw them get into the car and it looked like they just ditched him. I said, "Bro, they're leaving." And he said, "What the F?" And I said, "Sorry, brother." And that's exactly the interaction we thought it was, because the girls were maybe doing a Snapchat like, getting your food and dipping. And the guy is like, "Hurry up," and they're gone. But then Hoodie Guy's like still talking with Joe. Hoodie Guy's talking with Joe, and Joe's like, "Whoa, they're leaving." And the Hoodie Guy looks like he says, "What the F?" And Joe just says, "Sorry, brother." Like, maybe there goes your chance. What you thought was going to maybe happen. I don't know. So they're just showing the whole, breakdown of the night here. And I still don't think it was 1:30 a.m. I think it was 1:41 a.m. to 1:51 a.m. that the girls were at the grub truck. But they were at the corner club. According to Kaylee's sister, it was later. It was about 10:20 p.m. the girls got there. And so they were there, I guess, for a few hours. They're just showing the layout and where the cops are, searching for footage all around here. They're showing how Ethan and Zaina had attended that Sigma Chi party. And eventually they all ended up at home. But it says, and this is that grub bus cashier, he's actually the manager. Now this is saying the grub bus cashier had mercy on the 2 women and handed them food, and they took it and ran to the car. I said to the guy, "Did you just give those girls food without them paying?" And he was like, "Yeah, they had to go home." Now that's a little weird to me, because when you watch the video, you see Maddie ordering, and she's asking if she has enough Grubhub points. Ends up she doesn't have enough points. But they generally pay. Everyone I remember from seeing that video, they paid right there and then they got their food. So I'm not sure about this part where the girls got their food without them paying. I don't understand that part. But it says days after news broke, Joe realized he had some info that police could use in the investigation, so he reached out to authorities. Joe said, "The only thing that I was able to do is verify the timeline and tell police that they got into the car. The driver of the car has also been eliminated as a suspect." And Joe said that the case has really hit home with him. Joe says, "I was there and I have a little girl. And at the end of the day, a dad's going to go through Thanksgiving without a daughter, and that really hurts." That is sad. I'm glad to know that Joe has spoken with police, because initially when Joe commented on TikTok, he was saying at one point that, and this is him, Joe was saying he called the tip line, no one called him back, and he had to physically go into the police station in order to talk to them. So I'm glad again he's speaking out. That's Joe, and then eventually Hoodie Guy shows up. So that's Hoodie Guy there, and there are the girls. So that's why with what Joe is saying now, I think it would be really even more interesting to know who were all these guys at the bar giving them a lot of attention. Could it have been someone at the bar? Who knows? But to know that the girls were really inebriated, it might sound weird. I know the Bible says, "Do not get drunk on much wine." It's not like we're not supposed to drink it all, I love a good glass of champagne or wine. But part of me is almost like grateful the girls were so inebriated. Not that you should be. I don't want to say the wrong thing, but I'm saying part of me thinks I wish they could have just slept through the attack without feeling any pain. If they got home and they're calling Jack over and over and over again, they stopped that at 2:52. If they ended up just passing out in their own rooms, I assume. We don't know if one of the girls was in another girl's room. You know how girls are. College days, you go out, you get drunk, you come back, sometimes you end up falling asleep in the same bed. I don't know. Part of me thinks, man, hopefully it helped them not feel as much pain. I know it could sound odd, but you just are grateful for any little thing that could have taken away the horror of the realization of such a horrible attack. But I'm glad Joe is speaking out, and so hopefully this Corner Club will have more videos. I hope the cops have talked to all the Corner Club witnesses, making sure it wasn't some guy off in the corner at the Corner Club, seething, looking at the girls, knowing what time they left, perhaps knowing what time they went to the food truck, or did someone leave the Corner Club and figure out where the girls lived? Like they say, it was a odd house to get to. You have to go through a cul-de-sac. This house, you have to kind of know what's going on. You have to get to it in an odd way through a cul-de-sac. It wasn't something maybe that a person might just happen upon. So this vantage point right here was someone looking through the trees, and neighbors have said you can see what's going on there. That's why my husband is such a fiend for keeping the shades closed at night, especially. But was someone looking? Could they see through? Because a neighbor said generally you can see through. You can see through to the rooms. You can see if someone's there. The lights are on. So was someone looking and lurking? Was someone lurking, and could they tell the girl, were they looking and could they see a bedroom, or could they see something through here and know, they're awake, or look, they're passing out now. Now would be the perfect time to attack, Is that what happened? I don't know. As the days go by, I keep praying and praying and praying in Jesus' name for the cops to get a break, like the break they need, just so they can really put this person behind bars. So I'm going to end it there. Revelation 13:18. Here is wisdom. Let the person who has enough insight calculate the number of the beast, for it is the imperfect number of a man, and his number is 666. So it's just reminding me of this horrible tragedy and what influenced it. But thank the Lord that we can overcome evil by the blood of the Lamb and the word of our testimony. That's what we have to hold on to in the face of this horrible evil. Thank you for watching. Stay tuned for more.